Allegri little line in the press conference that he gave with Agnelli, where he talked about in life, there are people who win and there are people who don't win, and it was just really a continuation of his recent conversations with Adani, where
and having a go at Sarri,
where he's constantly sort of making this point that you all want to talk about football like it's theory, and what I'm interested in is winning and losing. That's always been Allegri's line, and I think what's one of the fascinating things about the Allegri Juventus era is that for all the criticism he took, Allegri's public discourse, like the way he talks about football, like I don't know if there's ever been, perhaps Conte I suppose is similar, but like the very few Juventus managers quite as in line with what is the official Juventus line, the Giampiero Boniperti line. Winning is not an important thing, it's the only thing that matters. And Allegri has been the perfect speaker on that. And what's funny is
the fans have forgotten that, and so have management apparently. But go on.
What's funny about that is, like, I actually because I was writing something about this just the other day, and I found I was going back to why a lot of Juventus fans didn't like him in the first place, which he'd come from Milan, where, by the way, he did win. He'd come from Milan, and there was that one season where it was Milan going up against Conte's Juventus for the title, and they got really sort of back and forth nasty in the press, and there was the Montari ghost goal. And Allegri said some things, and then afterwards did that thing of trying to play it off and saying, I was just joking, I was joking around. No one at Juventus can tell that I'm someone who likes a joke. And Nedved came back to him and said, at Juventus we don't joke, we win. And I'm like, again, like, this is a club. This is a club that has made its whole shtick about winning. Are you going to go and get the guy who, I got a lot of time for Maurizio Sarri. I admire him as a coach as well, but like, he is, like, philosophically such a step away from Allegri and such a step away from we like winners. And I think that's like part of my problem with all these guys you're going and talking about.
Well, not all.
Well, including Pochettino, to be honest.
But most of the ones that we're talking about as realistic targets. Okay, so Simone Inzaghi has overachieved at times at Lazio. He's won the Coppa Italia. I suppose it's something. Sarri hasn't won a major trophy. He might in a few days' time.
There's another issue with Sarri, which Sarri is the manager of Chelsea. He has another year left on his contract after this one. Chelsea's position is obviously complicated because they have the transfer ban, which may or may not yet be upheld by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. He hit his targets this season. He finished third. Mm-hmm. He may yet win the Europa League finals or the final League Cup.
I think.
Terrific.
The club's orientation is to keep him. So if you want Sarri, you then have to go and pay compensation there as well, and you need Sarri to say, yes, I want to leave. I don't think we're getting to that point. And in fact, the source for a lot of these stories is the same guy. It's an intermediary, a very powerful intermediary who's kind of put these stories out in Italy. So I'd move on from Sarri to somebody who maybe is equally improbable, but would be quite a story. What if Antonio Conte came back?
I think I'd prefer Sarri. No. I mean, from my understanding is that, well, according to what everyone...
He has the stuff for the expensive restaurant now, right?
The expensive... yes,
that's
absolutely.
His whole point,
for
right?
The
he famously said, like, they asked me to go to dinner with 10 euros.
And a literal restaurant.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I talked about it on the pod before. He has a restaurant in Turin. It's I didn't think it was great.
Well, firstly, I thought that, I mean, according to what everyone is saying, the guy seems to be a done deal for Inter. We don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I think it's, but let's leave that to one side.
I think Paratici and Nedved would welcome him back from my, I assume so. This is speculating. From what I understand, though, is Agnelli would be a little bit more apprehensive about welcoming him back.
Okay, this is important what you're saying. So just to reiterate, the thinking is that the breakdown in relationships when he left and was, as far as we know now, was with the players, with some of the players who felt it was too shouty and whatever. With the resources, he felt he wasn't given the resources he wanted, and the person who took that most to heart when he left was Andrea Agnelli. Because remember, too, he didn't leave at the end of the season.
No,
he left in mid-July, kind of like leaving
in the preseason.
But Paratici and Nedved would be willing to overlook that and say, well, he's so good. It was so wonderful when he was here.
I don't even think. I mean, I don't even know.
You think
they're
open to it, but they wouldn't necessarily be cheerleaders for it.
You know what it is? It's if he had just left saying, "I can't do my job here. This is not the right environment." But it was a bit of a low blow. You know, like it was a little bit of a. He made fun of them, and he basically insinuated that the ambitions of Antonio Conte were higher than that of Juventus club. So for me, it was just a little bit like he just turned around and said, my team's not good enough to win the Champions League. You know what, dude? All we want is for you to go to Nordschland and maybe get a win. Yeah, maybe get a win against Galatasaray.